Hi guys, Blake here today. Lilley's Landing Resort and Marina. A beautiful day here on Lake Taneycomo. It is Saturday, the 6th of May. And I am going to do the one cast today. So I know that Phil and Nathan and Darren have been out here throwing the midges. So I'm going to stay away from the midges today, even though I'm sure that they're still working. I just saw a fish come up and take one a second ago. But we're going to break out the old micro jigs, another trout favorite when the water's off and you got a little wind on the water. So what I have here is our Lilleys micro jig. That's one, the orange head olive flavor. And I have a pack of pulse indicators, I hope, in my pocket, one of my pockets here. Yep, there they are. And I'm gonna fish kind of down the gut. We're right below the golf course right now. I'm just gonna fish straight down the middle. We're gonna cast towards the deep side, so we're probably gonna set it all 4 or 5 foot deep there. Maybe somewhere in there. We'll start there and see how that works. This morning started off at like a beautiful 60 degrees. Just a little bit of humidity. There's fog on the lake. It's pretty wonderful. Oh, am I sitting on that chair right? Yeah. Oh my. That was a large rainbow that just came flying out of the water. It almost looked to me like he was chasing some type of minnow. I guess he could have been going for a midge, but that was an awfully aggressive action to go grab a midge. Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and say nothing on the first cast. I want to get over there where he was at. But I brought a couple different micro jigs with me today. This olive with an orange head tends to work a lot, so that's what I started with. I've also got a variety of our other colors as well. Some days those like more gingery looking ones work better. There's a fish. So water off again today. About 3 o'clock, they're gonna crank up and run 1 or 2 units, and then 4 units for 2 hours, and then 2 units for 1 hour, and then back off by about 6 o'clock. Yeah. Using 6X tippet today, fluorocarbon. There we go. There. Got the hook free. Get my hand wet. Come here. Nice little stalker rainbow there. Okay, we're losing our chop, of course. We're getting to that time of the year where you're going to hear me say that word a whole lot and complain about how it disappears as soon as I start the video. I mean, you should have seen how hard the wind was blowing right before I started the video and right as I started the video, and it was just flattening out. There was a fish. He took a stab at it. Oh, I'm a little slow on my guns here. He pulled that all the way under. Let's see if I can do a little bit better. So I was mentioning the other things I brought with me. I've got one rod rigged up with a yellow mega worm that I trimmed the tail off of. Just made a little short piece. Oh my gosh. As soon as I looked at the trolling motor. Well, I've had one connection and 3 solid bites already. I'm gonna have to say that the micro jig is definitely working. I'm just not a very effective hook setter at the moment. And don't worry, you don't have to know how to fly rod, how to throw a fly rod to fish one of these. There we go. You could easily put this underneath one of our weighted indicators. Now, it will be just a little bit harder to see the bite on the weighted indicator versus being able to use such a light piece of foam, but you can still totally do it. Oh, he popped off. I let him have just a little too much slack. I've got my boat sitting on the flat that comes off of the golf course here, right below the golf course, and I'm casting right into where the water drops off. I might even have to face my boat downstream if I want to continue fishing new water. Because without the wind, we are holding pretty still right now. Got some midges flying off the water at the moment. Ultimately, a micro jig doesn't look too much more than like a big midge larvae. Good, how are you? But I think we would be getting even more bites had that wind continued blowing. And this is not something you have to fish in the trophy area. I actually was thinking about fishing it down in the Short Creek area. However, the amount of boats, I'm not sure if there's as many cars on the strip right now as there were boats between Fall Creek and our dock. Oh. There we go. Gotta be a little faster. Oh, I better check my hook. I think that last fish may have bent it. These hooks on these micro jigs are a little flimsy, and if you aren't careful when you take it out of the fit, yep, sure enough, that, guys, is a bent hook. That is the reason I haven't been able to stick or keep on the fish that I did stick for the last couple. They do bend back into place pretty easy, so if you're careful with them, you can get some uses out of them. But that was my problem there. I could have fished the whole episode and not thought about that. Just know that sometimes it isn't just you. It actually might be something faulty on your equipment, so don't forget to check. Let's see if we have a better hookup ratio now. Oh. See some dragonflies hatching again this year. That's good. Last year was the most dragonflies I'd ever seen on the lake. Might be something to that. Oh, there we go. That's a better fish. And he's staying hooked. And he's gonna go for a run. Hey, hey. Oh, really? Okay. Wow. I'll check my hook one more time, make sure he didn't bend it back out in that fight. He sure did. That was a pretty large rainbow. That might have been a 20-incher. But he put enough pressure on my hook to bend it. Okay. Going through all the technical difficulties here today. Seeing quite a few sucker fish out there. Can I hear Chuck? Or nope, that's not Chuck. John Sappington letting his customers know you gotta cast in the right spot. You know, I could be mistaken here. It almost seems like maybe some gravel in this last little floodwater we had running may have filled in a little bit of this area. I recall it being a touch deeper last year. That is interesting. Now the wind's gonna start blowing again, which I'm okay with, but I'm gonna have to turn the boat around again. I think our high is supposed to be in the mid-80s today. And if they're still sticking to the original forecast, missed another one, then a high of like 88 tomorrow. It's getting a little too hot for me. And just like with any of the stuff, when the water's off, I still do move my indicator around and get that jig moving around if it's been setting for a second. Alright, now we're starting to get a little deeper back in the center again. Might be fishing too shallow where I'm casting to at the moment. Oh, one grabbed it as I was moving the indicator. I went to let the indicator float back up and it didn't float back up. There was a fish on the end of that. There we go. This one might be little enough to not bend my hook back out. Once a hook has been bent like that, they are weaker and they bend a little bit easier the next time that it gets pressure on it. There we go. Hooked him right in the nose. Got some really good coloration to him. Just saw a really big fish flash right there. Let's see if we can target him. Oh, just as I was mending it, came out and grabbed it. It was actually me mending the line that set the hook on that fish. Come here. Oh. Gotta be careful with these micro jigs. It's easy to pull the feathers out too. There we go. Come on. Out of there. That was not the big one that flashed, unfortunately. So based on the last two fish, both when moving or mending the indicators when I got the bite. So I'd say that even a little extra movement with less pauses in between isn't going to hurt anything here. And And if I had a pair of polarized glasses on, I would actually be able to see these fish going for the bait. So a pair of polarized glasses definitely won't hurt anything. Good. They're hitting an olive micro jig pretty good.
Really? You're doing real good on the white one.
Yeah.
That little narrow by Point Royale
Yeah.
is loaded with fish and they're biting really well. They just want to come try something different.
Okay. Were you using a white thread jig?
A white thread jig and
Yeah.
scud or midget bubbles that are taking that white.
Yeah. Cool. I saw you giving me the guide set the hook motion there. Well, I was looking at you, so. That was Captain Brett Rader. He said that up in that little narrow area by Point Royale Island that there was a ton of fish stacked up and they were hitting a white thread jig that he ties up. Gotta be careful touching my legs against the boat. That metal is starting to get hot. There he is. Well, it is literally the dead middle of the day, which is usually not a great time for a bite, but I have to say that these olive micro jigs are working well. Sounds like the white thread jig. I thought about bringing a thread jig with me. There's another one. I keep the line tucked underneath my pinky. That's how I either stop the fish or I can let my pinky loose and let them have line when they start running. Just like that. Trying to force this one, I might regret it. We got that one in the net. Anytime you try to rush 6X tippet, it usually ends badly. There's another one. I'll make sure that hook's not bent. And it's bent. At this point, it might be just worth tying on a new one, but I don't feel like it, so we're just gonna keep bending the hook back until it breaks. But I can see the fish underneath the water. They are just going crazy, side swiping food. They're definitely feeding. Oh, there he is. We're only going to spend a couple more minutes out here doing this, guys. I think needless to say, it's a good bite going on. And I primarily just set that at about 4 foot and made sure I was keeping my boat somewhere where I could cast to something that was just a little deeper than 4. Otherwise, you got to take off the Pulsa and put a new one on. It's not that difficult, but I'd rather just stay in a stretch where I don't have to change the depth. I was noticing my tail feathers were starting to get a little short there, so it may have been time to change that jig out. I kind of ripped a few of them out when I was taking the hook out of fish's mouths. All right, one more cast. There's one. Oh, that might be the biggest one yet. He's acting big, but I don't think he's as big as he's acting. Very chunky. There we go. That's a good one to end it on. Well, if they're going to keep playing this water off pattern, guys, I think the micro jig is definitely worth giving a shot. There are obviously days where it works better and where it doesn't work as good, but it is a staple for when the water's not running. Here we go. Oh, got him. All right, guys. Well, we thank you for watching today. Fun day of catching, and we'll see you again tomorrow.